Hey, Pro Organizers, it's Melissa, and I'm coming to you with our last podcast of 2022. I really can't believe that. This year, for me at least, has gone super, super fast. I don't know about anyone else, but it is really weird for me that it is New Year's Day coming up, and we are going into a brand new year. But what I wanted to do a quick podcast for you about some of the stuff that I have been thinking about. I know what I'm about to say is not going to exactly be groundbreaking in any way, but with the holidays and with New Year's Day around the corner, I get super introspective and contemplative and emotional and sappy and all sorts of things. I look back on the year and look at what I've accomplished, what my friends have accomplished, what people I work with have accomplished, and I get like really sappy and excited about it. But then I also like try to do a bunch of deep thinking about, hey, what did I learn this year? What do I want to do differently next year? What has served me well? What hasn't served me well? And I really have been doing a lot of that thinking lately, and I thought, well, why don't I put together some of the things that I've learned this year and talk to you a little bit about the energy that I personally want to go into next year with. And while these things are personal to me, I am sharing them because I suspect a lot of you might be feeling the same way. And if nothing else, I just want you to know that you have a friend going through the same thing. We might not be going through exactly the same things, but I suspect that a lot of us are going through similar things at least. So I know that this has been oversaturated in the media, especially if you have teenagers like I do, but on the new Taylor Swift album, Midnights, there is a song that has this phrase that is, it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. And when I tell you that this song lyric runs through my head multiple times a day as I've been thinking about some of these things and thinking about how I want to approach 2023 in my business, it's so many times a day that song runs through my head. And this is not in a way that I'm making myself feel badly about myself. It's just that I am choosing to recognize that I have some behaviors and habits that I have developed that don't really serve me well. And I actually have an ability to sabotage myself in a few ways because I've developed these kind of bad habits. So as James Clear teaches us in one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits, habits are changeable, and there are many ways that we can approach changing habits. So while some of the things that I've been thinking about are pretty much a core part of my personality, when you really think about it, they're also habits, and I have just developed the habits over the course of many decades. And I'm committed to addressing them and really trying to make a positive change. Realizing that these changes I'm going to attempt to make are going to free me up and make me a happier person at work, at home, make me more productive, make me actually be able to enjoy my free time more. So, without further ado, this is my list of it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me, things that I want to work on in 2023. Okay, so my first one is not going to be like, oh my gosh, this is shocking to hear. No one's ever said this before, but I want to talk about it because I feel sometimes people forget that we're allowed to make decisions that work for us or are good for us, even if you feel like maybe it's going to create some FOMO, fear of missing out, or something else. So here's my statement. I am exhausted of my phone. I mean, like, exhausted. I realize it is hilariously ironic that I'm coming to you most likely on headphones on your mobile device, but I legit am starting to feel so stressed out now when I pick up my phone, which of course I do many more times a day than I should. But I have thought about this before. If I were on a reality show, which I will absolutely never be, if a film crew followed me around during my day and saw how much I'm picking up and staring at this little box in my hand, I'm absolutely certain that I would watch that footage back and be really embarrassed. And when I pick up my phone, obviously we need our phones to be connected. That is how modern business works. That is how modern life works. But you can use it as a tool and not have it completely crush your productivity efficiency, waste a bunch of time on it. What I'm doing with my phone is I'm picking it up so many times going, oh, maybe someone needs me on email. Oh, maybe someone has DM'd me on Instagram. Oop. I'm like switching between so many things. It's becoming a hindrance to me getting anything actually done. So it sometimes becomes a procrastination tool. So it's keeping me from things I really need to be doing because my brain is telling me you need to pick up your phone and see, if someone's emailed you or if you have something on social media that you need to respond to. And then ironically, sometimes I don't even end up responding to those things because I'm overwhelmed because I'm like, oh, I also need to check my email. So it really is kind of the device itself is really starting to stress me out and frankly overwhelm me. And Something else about it, it's not just the distraction of the device itself, but something else I've noticed about myself. And I think it's important to any of us in our entrepreneurial ventures to think about if this is something you might be doing too. So a lot of times I'll be scrolling social media because I love checking in on Pro Organizer Studio students and friends of mine and other organizers. I love checking things out, but I also follow a lot of other entrepreneurs too. So I'll be scrolling social media or checking things, and then I'll see, oh, this is another thing that someone's telling me I should be doing. So you should use this new thing or this piece of software, or you should try this reel, or did you know that reels are, the best reels now are 6 seconds? Nope, just kidding. The best reels now are 20 seconds. Nope, just kidding. The best reels now are 90 seconds. There's just always something constantly new out there. There are new forms that you're supposed to try and all of these things. And it's just overwhelming. So while I'm sure that there are some genuinely amazing tools out there that I might be missing out on, what I am finding right now is the phone, specifically looking through social media, even through people that I really like, other entrepreneurs that I really, really admire, telling me about something that might be great for my business. I'm just finding myself stressed out. It's not something that I'm doing to feel better. So I'm sure some of you feel that way too. If you look at other organizers' Instagrams, like, oh, look at what she's doing there. Look at the reel she did. And it's so amazing because there's so much creativity out there, so much creativity. But the hill that I will die on is if you open your phone and it makes you feel badly about yourself, or it makes you feel like, oh, I need to be doing something, or you're constantly on that hamster wheel, examine your relationship with it, because you don't have to do it. One thing that I am deciding to do for myself is a digital detox in January. I have done it before and it's been great. If anybody has ever done a Whole30, it's kind of like a digital Whole30. But the problem is when you get done with a Whole30, it's basically you eliminate a lot of things from your diet, and then you do it for 30 days and you get used to it on that 30 days. But then on day 31, you're like, cool, let's party again. So what I want to do is I want to do a digital detox, but then also think about how do I want to mindfully and intentionally use my phone this year. I really have found myself in the past when I've done it backsliding and basically not getting any further ahead than I was before. I want to be clear. I am absolutely not against using our phones to disconnect or have some relaxation time, okay? I am not here with a message of put your phone down so you can work more. That is not it at all. I really believe one of the things we all need to be better about is really taking time off and away. But what is happening, at least to me, is a lot of times when I'm scrolling social media in the evenings, when theoretically I'm on relax time, what it does is it clicks my brain back into work mode. And if I'm trying to be on disconnect mode, but then I open Instagram and then I see work things, then I'm back in work mode. This is 0% helpful to me personally, can for sure to me lead to feelings of, inadequacy, or, oh, I need to be working on this. Oh, I'm not working hard enough. And what that does is eventually leads to burnout. One of the things that I have realized that I have to remind myself of is advice that I give clients about organizing, which is very specifically, you have to put boundaries around things. We all know this as organizers. You have to put boundaries around things. Think of a kitchen drawer, for instance. You got to put some drawer dividers in so that things don't get mixed up all over the place. But what I am trying to think about is I need some metaphorical drawer dividers around my phone time. I'm still trying to figure out what this means to me and what my digital detox is going to look like and what those boundaries are going to be. So the drawer dividers of my phone. But I just want to tell you, I want to give you the permission, if you need it, that it's okay not to be on your phone all the time. You don't have to like every post you see. You don't have to start making lists of all the things that you aren't doing that other people are doing. You can fully disconnect if that's what you need. Here is a personal story that I will share. I love TikTok. I am certain I have talked about it on this podcast before. I definitely have friends who would be happy to tell you when I start a sentence, so I saw this thing, they will interrupt me and finish that sentence with, we know, you saw it on TikTok, we got it. I realized like in mid-November-ish that I was wasting so much time on TikTok. And I really do mean wasting time, like scrolling very mindlessly. And while I enjoyed that time and appreciated both the entertainment and, for the record, actual education, I have learned a lot of things on TikTok. I got actual education from it. But what I realized was I was losing so much time. So sometimes that was productive time during the workday, sometimes that was family time, or time that I should have been doing other things. Like there are household tasks we all have, and I was just losing a lot of time staring blankly at my phone. So I straight up took it off my phone. I deleted the TikTok app. And while there certainly were times that I was kind of sad because it really was great entertainment to me, I also really felt relieved that I wasn't tempted to be mindlessly scrolling and that I wasn't just wasting scads of time. I started reading books more, I love reading books. It's one of my favorite things to do. And some of them were business books, some of them were personal books. I started feeling like I really needed to do that. Possibly you have better self-control than I do. I will totally admit that my issues with procrastination and other things make TikTok in particular an extremely pleasant source of, heading down the rabbit hole of digital life. But if you are a responsible person, unlike me, and you can scroll TikTok for 5 minutes and then X out of it, I am extremely impressed. But for me, it was important to do a full goodbye, it's off my phone detox. And I will add, during the Christmas break, I really have been stepping away from work. I really have been taking a break. I told myself I will put it back on my phone because, it's vacation. I will absolutely tell you, I have been paying attention to my own behavior, and now that it's back on my phone, scroll mindlessly. So if you've read anything about apps, like how iPhone was developed, how it continues to be developed, and how apps are developed, they are literally designed to be addictive. There's actual research on this about our brains and how they interact with our phones and our apps. So it's off my phone again, as it should be. And I've realized that right now that's just not something that I need in my life. You maybe want to make that same choice too, or you maybe want to put boundaries around it, but that's what I'm choosing to do. The next thing ties into a couple of podcasts that we have done in the past on the Enneagram, which I will admit I am full on obsessed with Enneagram. I am an Enneagram 2, which is termed the helper, and that really is the core of my being. It is absolutely why I was able to really find my life's purpose when I discovered organizing and make a full-on career change. It's why I have chosen to coach other women on how they can build their businesses. When I tell you I am obsessed with helping people, I cannot more genuinely mean that. It is really core to who I am as a person. I want to help. I'm sure that you can also sense from how I'm saying this, there might be a but coming, and there is. Sometimes I want to help other people so much that I massively overcommit my time or resources or other things. And then in a bid to deliver on all those promises of help, I end up sometimes creating a situation in which I'm overwhelmed or overworked, or I overpromise and underdeliver. And I'm either letting someone down that I've made a promise to, or in order to not let someone down, I'm sacrificing personal time, family time, anything else to make that happen. And I know that a lot of us as service providers and as givers and caring people, we are in a caring industry. You probably can end up in the same place. But what I want to commit to myself and to everyone else next year is I might have to say no to some things. But what that is going to do is it's going to make the bigger picture better for everyone. So the way I'm terming it, like when I have thought about this, is I have to say no to be able to say yes. And what I've decided I am going to do is actually embark on a series of experiments of saying no for 30 days to something. So this is not exclusively about work. It's going to be about a lot of things in my personal life. So that is going to include health, social obligations, TV, all sorts of other stuff. But one of the things I've had to come to terms with is that I said yes to a lot of projects in this year that actually took significant time away from bigger, more strategic, and ultimately more important things. So in 2023, I have to practice learning to say no in the nicest possible way, but also practice not apologizing for saying no, which is another problem I have. And this is something that there are a couple people in our private Inspired Organizer group that have pointed this out. When you are talking to a client and there's something you can't do, you don't have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. No, because you don't have to apologize unless it's something that really needs to be apologized for. Ultimately, what I know is going to happen is that those occasional no's are actually going to make the work I do here at Pro Organizer Studio better and deliver better content and better tools to a wide group of people. And whether you're a listener of the podcast or if you're a member of one of our programs, if you're a student in Inspired Organizer or Organizing Essentials or our new HoneyBook course or any of the other programs that we have, I want our students to feel like you are supported in every single way. And so some of that's going to involve me having to say no, and I have already been practicing it over this break that I've been on, and it's actually felt really good. One of the things that Jen and I have talked about here on the podcast a few times is you cannot help your organizing clients if you are stressed out and burned out, and your clients need you to show up as the best person you can be. So I need to take my own advice, and it's actually really Jen's advice more than anything. And I always listen to Jen because she's wise about everything. And that's what this is about for me. So if you're sitting here and listening to me and going, oops, I do that too. I overcommit, or I overpromise, or I just want to help, but now I'm stretched too thin and I'm exhausted and burned out, I would absolutely love for you to join me on a say no to say yes journey. I admit the old me would have said, oh, let's do a challenge for this and I'll make a Facebook group. But nope, not going to do that. But I will happily cheer you on from afar. And I would absolutely be thrilled to hear from you in our email that you are embarking on this challenge too, because I do think it's really, really important for all of us. You can do it. I can do it. We can both do it. We can all do it. Okay, so I was just talking about TikTok. So I'm going to say something. I saw this thing on TikTok. This was a few months ago, but it has really stuck with me. It was a college student who was saying, I have time right now to work on a paper that's due tomorrow. Am I going to do that? No. I'm going to make this paper a problem for future me. And it was this whole thing about like future me at 3 a.m. is going to be really mad at present me for not doing this, blah, blah, blah. But it was a hilarious TikTok. But that phrase, I'm going to make this a problem for future me, has really stuck with me for a long time. And I make a lot of things a problem of future me. I have a terrible procrastination problem, and I know exactly why I do it. I'm not going to get into it, but I've done a lot of deep inner work on why I procrastinate, but I have a hard time getting over it. I really, in 2023, want to tackle this problem. I do think some of the things I've talked about before this are part of the problem, and I think all of these things are going to work together, but I really want to stop making problems for future me. It causes a ton of stress. It's not good for my health. It's not good for my family. It's not good for the people that I work with. It's not good for people that I deliver services to. I really, really want to get better on this. So this is another one. I'm not entirely certain how I'm going to, really embark upon this, but I can assure you that it is really important to me. And one of the things I want to do is figure out in some of these other things, whether it's the year of no or whether it is a digital detox, if there are ways that I can start to eliminate my procrastination problem as well. So those are kind of the big things I've been thinking about. There are a lot of other things, but I don't want to make this a 17-hour podcast that you guys have to listen to about all the ins and outs of my interior brain and my interior life. But what I really wanted to do is just get out there. If you have things that are bothering you, and if you have things that you're like, man, I'd really like this to be better next year, I am positive that we can do it. I know that I want to work hard at it because I know that we can do hard things. I know that I can do hard things. And I also know that the benefit of doing these things, so not only thinking about them, but actually tackling them, is going to be really, really good for me in so many ways. So what are you guys thinking about? I would love to hear. So you can send me an email at hello@proorganizerstudio.com. I would be happy to hear from you and hold space for you on what you are working on, whether those are big things or small things. It doesn't matter. All of us have room for improvement, and I am happy to be on this journey with you. So this is it. I will tell you, 2022 for the podcast has been unbelievable. We had over 100,000 downloads on the podcast just in 2022. And it is just mind-blowing to me that we have this wonderful, just amazing, committed community of people that like to listen to what Jen and I have to say and what our guests have to say. I am honored to come to you in your headphones, and what I am committed to is making really great content for you in 2023 so you can continue to enjoy the podcast. And what I would love is our podcast family to become a family in our programs. We have so many great programs for professional organizers, and I would be honored to be on your journey to build a business. All right, I hope that you have an absolutely spectacular New Year's. We are going to be sitting at home on the couch, which is my favorite place to be, But I will ring in the new year. I will raise a glass to all of you wonderful, wonderful women all around the world. And I look forward to seeing you more in 2023.
Thank you so much for listening in to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. If you'd like to get our roadmap for success as a pro organizer, head straight to www.proroadmap.com.